Hello everyone, and welcome back. Today we've got a sort of updated video of a previous video that I've done. Not sure how long ago now, but I've definitely done it. But we've got a few, probably 3 changes. I think maybe 2 shoes, no, 1 shoe might be the same. But we've got 2 shoes, so this is sort of my training shoe rotation for the sprint races that I do. I train sprinting, for those who don't know. Well, I'm a little bit heavy at the moment, but still training. But yeah, I train for like 60 metres, 100 metres, 200 metres. They're my events really. So we're going to go through my shoe rotation for what I use during training and races. And we'll sort of go in order. So I try and work my way from sort of rest, recovery, getting to event shoes, my training shoes, my gym shoes, and then my race spikes, which ones I use solely for racing and like big races that are important to me. So I'm going to have to bend down to get them because I can't keep them up on the sides because some of them have been used and they're dirty. I'm not putting them up on the bed or the sides when they're dirty. So, I dip out. Here we are. And these are my sort of recovery shoes, getting to event shoes before changing, like comfort shoes, travel shoes. They're quite dirty as you can see, but I do wear these everywhere. And they are Croc. I believe they're Echo clogs, but I can't remember which ones. But yeah, they're sort of like a grey colour, but as you can see they need a bit of a clean. They do make really nice noises because they're quite a hollow material, and then they've got the I can't remember what it's called in here now, a special softening lining. It's a special lining that they have in Crocs, but I can't remember the name of it. But it's like a lot softer than like your standard Crocs. It's some sort of foam and they're lovely. I would recommend if anyone gets anything like this going a size down, because I fly up and these still fit me, but I move around in them all the time. But I do have multiple pairs of Crocs for getting around events and around places, but these are the ones I probably use the most. I've got another pair that are like a sort of fluffier lining, and not like the really horrible like shaggy sort of carpet lining, but it's like, I can't explain it, but it's just a nice lining. But I probably wear these a little bit more because these are a bit easier to get off. As you can see on there, you've got the Crocs bit in there, but I do definitely like the funkier looking Crocs. Now we have got the different textures on there, so you've got the different, like the bumpy lines, and then you can see the little bit of foam poking through there. But shoes that are sort of in my rotation for shoes. I don't really, and they're not used for anything training wise, they're literally used to get places to walk around events when I'm at races or meetings, and then also to like travel to and from, and sometimes I just use them to slip out the house to get somewhere. So that will move me on to my next shoe, which is a training shoe and a warm-up shoe, which I think was in my last video, and it's I believe these are the Adidas Evo SL2s. Adizero, sorry, it says there, if it's going to focus for me. Also got a big Adizero on the bottom. I said you can tell these have been used. I think these are at least a year old now. But yeah, these are probably my favourite shoe to train in. Mainly because it's got enough cushion in it. Because you can see it here, you can see that I think it moves with the shoe if I press it in. Yeah, there we go. It's got enough cushion in this to like support my knees and ankles and stuff and not give me too much impact through my feet while warming up, and also be comfortable enough to sort of walk around in and jog in and stuff. But also it's got the traction on the bottom and enough flat for foot there, so I can land and not sink into the ground too much but still feel like I'm getting contact. We've got a lot of nice materials on this shoe. The foot plate is my favourite. It's got such good grip on it, and that's the main thing of me as well, because obviously I train in all weathers, so it's nice on the track when I've got a bit of grip to try and do bits and pieces. I do like the pop of orange that this has as well in it. Just brings a little bit more life to it, but also makes it quite a nice casual shoe. You can also see we're starting to lose a bit of the material, the toes coming through here. The little bit there is fading, so there's a chance these go at some point and I've got to replace them. But I'll probably try and get a similar pair, because these have been really good to me. And I do use them a lot. I'll be in them 4 or 5 times a week, so they get a lot of wear and tear. So we have a really nice scratchy upper with a few vinyls, but it does make it really nice. my favourite bit. I said the foam, and that makes it quite nice. That's it for those shoes. That's going to go on the floor again because that's quite dirty. So, I've got 2 more training shoes, which I know seems excessive, but one is for the gym and one is for on the track when I'm doing reps. So we'll go with the gym shoe first because it's my newest addition to the collection. And as you see, I like little bursts of oranges because this has got a lovely little burst of orange. This is the Adidas Drop Set 4, I believe. It's got the same sort of continental grip on the bottom. And this is purely for gym and lifting and plyometrics, which is, people who don't know what plyometrics are, it's a jumping sort of circuit for power and speed. So you'll do a certain amount of jumps and different types of jumps and things, and bounds and stuff, to sort of increase your speed and your power output vertically and horizontally. But I use these for like all my lifting weights, all my squats, all my deadlifts, all my cleans, hand cleans, all bits and pieces, as well as all my functional jumping fitness and bits like that, and some sled pushes. And as you can see, it's got a very sturdy sole of the shoe, and that's so when you're lifting it's nice and steady and you can get a lot of force into the ground without wobbling. A lot of stability. These are my favourite gym shoes I've had. They are so good. I would highly recommend anyone who needs a sort of hybrid lifting workout shoe. So got a pair of these. They're really good. So, but as you said, as it's a solid bottom, it's going to make some lovely sounds. Moves me onto the upper because we've got a nice bit of texture down here. We've got a lovely bit of texture on the upper here. So we're going to go with the one on the upper for now. See, it makes a really nice noise. final training shoe and our penultimate shoe of the video, and that is my green training spikes. As you can see, a little bit tainted from the track colours, but these are my spikes that I train in. Let's be careful not to spike myself on it. But these are the spikes that I train in every time I train, so 4 times a week. Unless I'm coming up to a race, and I'll sometimes slip into my race spikes just to get them back on my feet. But these are quite bendy and they haven't got a plate in them, so they don't cause my feet any harm, because if I train in my race spikes, they've got a carbon plate in the bottom, and that can sometimes cause me issues if I train in them too much for my calves and Achilles, because it's not particularly great for you to do it. So I have these softer, cheaper spikes that I can run into the ground basically and not bother replacing them. And we've got a nice texture on here. We've got some nice textures on the outside. So see, so we start off with the foot plate here. I'll try not to spike myself. So as you can see, he's quite sharp, so I don't like to get my hands on him. Texture on here so we can I'm not really sure what this is made out of particularly. It's quite a lightweight, sort of meshy, see-through upper, but you can sort of see through it, but it sounds those are my training spikes. So now we move on to our final shoe, and my big, probably most expensive out of this lot, because it's my race spikes. They were on offer though, so usually they'd be expensive, but these were decentish price for them, and you can tell they're special because they've got their own bag. Tell this bag sort of gives away what colours the spikes are going to be. It all matches together. this open. And I only need to show you one really because they're both the same. But here they are. These are the Nike, I believe, Max Flies. Yeah, Max Flies are called. I can remember Superflies or Max Flies. I should know better. My Nike Max Fly 2s. And these were, to be fair, if anyone knows anything about running spikes, these were retail at like 200 or something. I got these at Christmas in a Nike outlet store for 100 in my size, which is perfect because it gives me really quality spikes and it saves me a hell of a lot of money. But they're quite garish, quite bright. You've got the purples, the blues, the yellows, the oranges, the sort of greens of the plate. You've got this big air bubble in here that helps you get power off when you're running. It's quite big. It's a very popular shoe in sprint. If you watch any of the Olympics, a lot of athletes wear the Max Flies, but in little competitions I go to as well. The spike plate, as in still really sharp spikes, and these were used mainly in between January and December, so they're still relatively new. January, December, January and March this year for my indoor races, so they're still relatively new. As you can tell by the spikes are still sharp enough, they still hurt a little bit if I poke them, but I've got some. As you can see, if it will get in focus, there you go. You've got the fly wire, which is all these lines you can see in the shoe, in the upper, and it just makes everything so much better. As you can see, we got the big old Nike tick here, and that always reminds me of the Cristiano Ronaldo Mercurials they made back in the day. is all the shoes I have for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As I said, my shoe rotation always updates, so I'm always getting yearly new shoes for trading, so I probably will update this video at some point. But I felt like this was a sufficient point to update because I had, I believe, at least 4 shoes that weren't in the previous video, so that's a pretty big change in rotation of shoes. But I do have a lot more that I use sporadically and as and when, and so I don't wear stuff down, but they're the 5 main shoes that I use. And so, I'm going to end it there, guys. So, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you relaxed. Sleep well. And I'll catch you next time.